that Allison and I started doing these practice sessions close to 3 years ago now. It'll be 3 years in January of 24. And the idea of writing the practice book didn't come alive until probably 18 months ago, somewhere in there. Does that sound right, Allison?
Yeah, that sounds right.
At first, we started using, what was the name of the
Therapy workbook.
self-therapy workbook? And it was great. It was great to get it started. And we, right from the beginning, had 20, 25, 30 people showing up from all over the world to take advantage of the opportunity to practice getting to know their parts and to learn about IFS. And we found that as we were doing our practice session that the self-therapy workbook needed to be modified. The exercises in the workbook needed to be modified in order to accommodate what we were trying to accomplish in the practice group. And one of those modifications was as a result of most of the practice happening in what we call triads, dyads and triads. In fact, we started out with dyads. We would send people off in pairs. I forgot about this, Allison. I just haven't thought
Yeah, me
about this.
too. Yeah.
So we'd send people off in pairs to practice the exercises. And her exercises were really written, I believe, in the self-therapy workbook for someone just to do with and for themselves.
Yeah.
Because of some safety issues, meaning people would go into dyads and find themselves there with people that their parts would get really highly activated around. Then we went to triads and we found that felt safer. It was like a safer container for people to practice. And so we've evolved from there. What we would do then was we found a big influx of people coming into our practice sessions that either didn't know anything at all about IFS or that needed some education about just even how to participate in our practice sessions. So we started doing a 40-minute orientation at the very same time that people were doing practice sessions in the triads. And that was great. We got to know all these new people, but we didn't get a chance to facilitate or to do the practice ourselves because we were providing this orientation. So we decided to record the orientation. And we went through every point that we were making with the new people that were showing up for our group, and we recorded several different videos that are now available on YouTube, on my YouTube channel for Bill Tierney Coaching. And now we ask people just to go to that orientation and to watch any video that there's a new participant orientation, there's a welcome, there's several videos. And that freed us up then to do small practice groups. What we were hearing from people was that they just weren't comfortable going into dyads or triads, that they wanted to be able to just practice more anonymously in a larger group where they could go invisible if they needed to. And others that were saying they got more out of just doing the small groups. So that's where we're at now. Yeah. We have a 90-minute session. We do small groups for probably half the people that show up, and we do triads for those that want to do that. And we started writing our own workbook when we realized that we were spending as much time modifying the exercises from the self-therapy workbook as we would have been, we thought, writing our own practice book. Allison, what pieces and parts of this have I missed for Carol and anybody watching this video?
I don't think you've missed anything. I think that gives a broad brush over what we're doing. We do specifically when we do the exercises, we demo them first, so they're not going in blind. We don't just toss out the exercise and have you figured out. So the practice assistants will demonstrate the exercise. That's the only thing I would add that we do that's different. And then when we come back from our triads or small groups, we have a main group discussion for about 15 minutes or so, and then we end the meeting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And everybody that helps deliver this practice session, facilitate it, make it possible, everybody volunteers. Nobody gets paid for this. And we don't have a cost to anybody to come in and practice it. We have a few expenses on the side, but we absorb those ourselves because Allison and I both are committed. And we ask those that volunteer with us to be committed to creating a safe and platform for people to be able to come to now 4 times a month and practice getting to know their parts with other people that are equally enthused about the IFS model and getting to know their parts.